Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon,
Okay,
sir.
let us just wait for the others. Varies. Ako na naman. Bored. Wala. Nasa mid ako. Lahat nagtanglaw ulit ang ating yung Yun. Okay, good afternoon, STEM 6. Let us start na. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon din po.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, so
Good
let's
afternoon po.
Okay, so before we start, let's have our picture attendance first. As usual, kindly open your cam. STEM 6. Sabi, tanggal ko pala yung print. Wait lang ha. May knock-nose pala ako. Nakangiti na si Jana. Wait lang, Jana ha. Notin ko lang yung print. Pa-practice lang. Wait lang, umagal na ang aking cam. Aking ano. Nangyari na, nawala.
Oh, look at it. It's answer, but it's digital.
Mag-open ng print. Wait. Nakutsinta. May klasa, naghang ang aking ano, laptop. Ma-open yung print. Ayaw. Open ng print. Yan, wala na tuloy. Yun. Okay. Yun. Ay, nawala. Class. Hindi lang mag-open yung print. Yan, nagtitiktok na si Gia. Mamagal na yung aking phone. Ayaw. Mamaya naman tayo mag-picture. Ayaw mag-open. Okay, so let us start na. Wala din. Kanilang klasa at nagpang na ang aking ano.
Okay lang, sir. Take your time.
Hanggang kasi yung aking laptop. Yan, okay na. Kahit ganito na. Okay, anyway, mamaya na tayo mag-picture attendance. Ay mag-open ng aking ping. Okay, so let us start. This is week number 4. Our topic is the last of the conic section. We have the hyperbola. Okay, so hyperbola ulit tayo. Okay, before we go on with our discussion regarding hyperbola, let us watch muna this short film. Kita nyo sa inyong anak cam, sa inyong
Yes, sir.
wait lang ha, babalik ko. So instead of a prayer, ito muna ang ating ano. Okay. Oops, napasok pa. Lang. Okay. So, napanood niyo yung short film?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Opo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, regarding the short film, Miko, what can you say or
Sir.
what are your thoughts regarding the short film? Ano bang iyong tawag dito? Ay, yung thoughts regarding the short film we had? Ano ba yung essence ng short film na panood mo?
Wag pong susuko.
Okay, wag susuko. What else? Sikiel? Sikiel?
Sa una po makakaranas po tayo ng pagsubok pero po sa pagtagal po ay magiginhawa na rin po yung ating buhay.
Okay, very good. Next, we have Den. Last na si Den.
Sir, hindi ko po masyado naintindihan yung film kasi po medyo parang
Happy.
choppy na ewan. Pero sa huli po, parang nakita ko po na dumami po yung flowers po. Parang ganun.
Okay, so dumami yung flowers. Next, last one ito, Jana. Jana.
Hello, sir. Rinig niya pa?
Yes. Jana, go.
Ano po, sir? Hindi ko rin po siya doon naintindihan pero parang mas madami po, mas masaya po pag mas madami and kahit ano po yung, kung ano po man po yung problem na everything's a solution po. So, malalagpasan din po katulad po nung nasa video.
Okay, so katulad ng mga sinabi niya, essence of that video, siguro whatever or how hard life is, or no matter how hard life is, to never quit. Tulad ng ginagawa natin, kahit tayo nasa pandemic, tuloy pa rin tayo. Okay, so tama naman lahat yung sinabi niyo regarding the video na pinanood natin. Okay, so tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, this is week number 4. Walang presentation. This is week number 4. Our topic for today is hyperbola. This is our last of the conic section. Wait tayo magbukas ng aking presentation. Ito yung nasa video. Yan. Ayaw na yung aking tapo na. Kita nyo ba? Nalabas yung isa.
Opo.
Yes, sir.
Okay lang, hindi ito yung sa inyo. Business mo ito. Wait lang. Ay magbukas ng PreCal. Yan. Ito lang class at ay magbukas. Nagsisave pala yung isa. Start la agad sa amin. Nag-on na ulit. Parang ito yung ating video. Kita niyo ba yung nasa screen class?
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Sir,
Not responding.
Opo.
Papagod na siguro to. Okay, so let us continue. Tayo mag-open. Okay, in this topic class, since this is our last of the conic section, katulad din nung una natin from circle to ellipse, you are going to define hyperbola. You are going to determine the standard form of the equation of a hyperbola, then you are going to graph a hyperbola. Yun yung ating mga objectives for this topic. Ano? Okay, let us start. Ayan na. Ala, bumalik na. Okay. So these are the objectives. So let us start. Okay, before we start class, ito muna. Okay, I'll be giving you 5 minutes for you to be able to decipher the word, yung word puzzle natin. Okay, I'll be giving you 5 minutes. Yung unang maka-flash ng sagot doon sa screen will receive an additional point. Okay, hala, go. Kita niyo yung nasa screen class, yung guess what?
Opo.
Opo.
Okay. So you're going to put the corresponding letter doon sa baba, doon sa nakikita niyong blue, doon sa corresponding, yung corresponding letter doon sa corresponding number natin. To form a word. Hindi ko lang kung yun na form dito. Okay? So go. Yung unang makapag-flash ng tamang sagot will receive an additional point sa ating summative test. Isa lang ang kukunin ko ha. Okay, go. Tao yata. Okay, may sagot na. Oh, sino may sagot na? Tapos magtatanggal nga lang ako ng count na bagal. Okay. Okay, may flash na ba ng sagot? Ogie, sagot.
Sir.
Wala.
Sir.
Sino yun? Diyan na.
Daphne po.
Daphne. Ano si Daphne?
Factors po.
Factors ba? Check nyo nga ulit.
Ay.
Pangalan. Alam ko kung pangalan siya. Anybody? Kita niyo ba yung presentation? Hindi.
Hindi po.
Kaya kita niyo na?
Opo.
Okay. May flash na. Tatawagin lang ako ha pag meron ng sagot. Kasi hindi ko kayo kita. Dapat pala i-ano natin. Wait. Oh, Vincent, pakitaas, hindi ko kita. Mabasa. Sa pa, Vincent, hindi ko mabasa. Lapit-lapit mo. Ang tao si Gia. Iano mo lang, Vincent. Vincent. Iano mo lang, tawag dito. I-bold mo lang, then iano mo sa cam. Para makita ko. Oh, parang may baliktad, Vincent. Angel, pakilinaw. Yung una, Angel, hindi ko mabasa yung una. Okay, so +5. Kami nakakuha na ng sagot. Okay, nauna si Angel. So Angel got the correct answer. So +5 Angel sa summative test. Sa summative test natin ha, bibigyan natin yung ating +5. Okay, the final answer is... Okay siya. Hindi ko alam kung apelido siya. Okay, or laro or game. Okay, Oscraft yung ating pangalan. Okay, so let us move on with our discussion. We have the hyperbola. Okay, if we are going to define hyperbola, like we did sa ating circle, parabola, and ellipse, how will you define parabola? Hyperbola. Oh, anybody, how will you define hyperbola? If you look at sa ating activity kanina, nandun yung hyperbola class. Diba, may tanong doon na hyperbola. Then, binigay doon yung standard form of the equation of a hyperbola. From that standard form, ano yung nakita nyo? Oh, how will you define hyperbola? Anybody? Sino ko open?
Sir.
Oh, yeah.
Sir.
Sige, Gia mo na, Gia.
These are
No.
two parts which are called the connected components that are mirrored. They are both mirrored to each other.
Okay, mirror to each other or symmetric with each other. Si Kuya mo yung nasa likod Okay, mirror to each other. Okay, thank you, Gia. Very good. Next, sino yung sa kanina nagsalita?
Sir.
Metsola po.
Yes, Jessamay. Wait, Ara, mamaya. Jessamay muna, si Jessamay. Si Aram
Sir?
nga yung kanina.
Set of all
Yes.
points in a plane po.
Okay, it is also a set of points in a plane. Yes, Aram. Thank you, Jessamay.
Ano po, sir? Two curves that are like infinite bows. Tapos po yung curves na yun are mirror image of each other.
Okay, two curves, then mirror image of each other. Okay. Sige, my point. Aram,
Sir.
next. Yes.
Locus of
Thank you,
all
Aram.
points.
Yes, Vincent.
Locus of all points po na has a constant distance from two focal points.
Okay, locus of points which has a constant distance from a focal point. Okay, my point, malapit na. Okay, thank you, Vincent. Yes, Ezekiel.
Difference of two distance from a same point.
From a,
Common point.
okay, difference of a distance from a common point. Okay, papalapit na tayo. Okay, thank you, Ezekiel. Malapit na tayo. May mga kulang lang ako hinihingi. Lara. Yes, Lara.
Locus of a point which moves so that the difference of its distance from two fixed points is equal or constant.
Is?
Constant po.
Okay, very good. So, yun yung ating hinihintay na definition. Parang pinagsama-sama yung mga definitions nyo, Okay, it is somewhat similar with the definition of an ellipse. Difference only is, sa ellipse, it is the sum. Dito naman sa hyperbola, it is the difference. Ano? So if we are going to define hyperbola, it is a set of points whose distances from the fixed points is a constant also, or difference of the distances from a fixed point is also a constant. So yan yung ating definition. Ano? A set of all points in a plane whose difference of the distances from the two fixed points in the plane is constant. So tama yung sinabi ni Lara, very good. If we are going to define this graphically, ito yung point P natin do sa ating hyperbola with coordinate of x and y. This is our first fixed point with coordinate of negative c and 0, and the second fixed point with coordinate of c and 0. Again, from this, ito yung ating definition ng hyperbola. Let us look at the three-dimensional. Okay, so bumilis-bilis tayo. Okay, kita niyo yung nasa screen na. Okay, nakita niyo nasa screen. So this is a graph of a hyperbola. Malaki na natin. Okay, this is a graph of a hyperbola. Okay, nakikita niyo yung point E doon sa hyperbola. Nakikita yung point E doon sa hyperbola?
Opo, sir, yung kulay red.
Okay, so this is your point on the hyperbola na. And these are your fixed points, yung F1 at F2. Yung ating foci, ano. So if I will move yung ating point P across dun sa ating hyperbola, okay, what have you noticed with the absolute value of difference of distance to foci?
Equal po.
Equals
It is,
Constant po.
okay, it is constant. Ano, hindi equal, constant siya. When we say constant, kahit saan pumunta yung ating point, kahit saan pumunta yung ating point sa hyperbola, it is always at 2.4. So constant siya at 2.4. Ano? Okay, let's say we move our hyperbola. Let's say center at 0, 0. Okay. Sumobra pa rin. Mahuli yung 0. Okay, kanya na lang. Pag nga rin nasa 0, 0. Mahuli yung 0. Okay, then let us move yung A and B. Yeah, so let's say this is our hyperbola. Again, as I move yung point P doon sa ating hyperbola, napansin nyo doon sa value na 2.8.
Constant po din.
Okay, it is still constant. Ano? Constant at 2.8. Kahit sa natin ilagay yung ating hyperbola, kahit sa natin yung ilagay yung hyperbola, then the difference between the distances from P to F1, P to F2 is constant. Okay? So, constant lagi siya. So, hindi nagbabago yung ating value. Okay, so that is the definition ng ating hyperbola graphically. Tulad din ng ginagawa natin, pinapakita natin siya graphically. Yung ating definition. Okay, so let us move on. Okay, these are the parts of hyperbola. So yung ibang parts dito ay familiar na kayo since they are also parts ng ibang conic sections natin. Okay, first we have the dot at the middle. This is your, nakikita niyo yung red. Okay, this is the center. Okay, so no need to define yung center. Alam na naman natin yung center. Ano? How about these two red dots?
vertex.
Okay, these are the vertices. Okay, these are the vertices. How about this line?
Transverse axis po.
Okay, very good. This is your transverse axis. Tatandaan na, this is your transverse axis. Transverse axis is the line containing the foci. So yung foci natin ay medyo nandito sa parting ito. It contains the foci. So transverse axis. How about these two blue points?
Co-vertex po.
Okay, very good. These are the co-vertices. Ano? These are the co-vertices. How about this line?
Conjugate axis.
Conjugate axis.
Okay, very good. If this is the transverse axis, yung ating line na perpendicular to the transverse axis is your conjugate axis. And conjugate axis is the line perpendicular to the transverse axis. Okay? Next. Okay, after plotting the points yung ating vertices and co-vertices, you can draw the triangle. You can draw the rectangle or the square. The square, ano? This is a guide for you to be able to draw the asymptotes. Okay, next. How about these two green dots?
Okay.
Okay, this is F sub 1 and F sub 2. So no need to define them. And these are your
Asymptote.
Asymptote.
Okay, very good. These are your asymptotes. Ano? Okay, mamaya kayo bibigay yung equation ng ating asymptote. Okay, these are the asymptotes. The asymptotes are the lines passing through the center and serve as a guide in graphing a hyperbola. So pagkatapos nyo may draw yung ating rectangle or square, you can draw the asymptotes. Then after that, you can draw the hyperbola. Okay? How about these two blue lines? These are the latera recta or the latus rectum natin. These are the latera recta. Okay, may directrix din yan nandito sa unahan ng vertex natin between the center and the vertex. Hindi ko na pinakita na. Okay, these are the length ng ating parts ng hyperbola. From center to vertex, it is equal to A. From center to co-vertices or co-vertex, it is equal to B. Then from center to focus, it is equal to C. Okay. With comparison sa ellipse, ano napansin nyo sa ellipse at saka sa hyperbola when it comes to their distances from the center? Again, from center to vertex, it is A. From center to co-vertex, it is B. From center to focus, it is C. O ano napansin nyo sa ellipse?
Pinakamalaki.
Sa hyperbola. Yes? Sino yung sasalita? Ano nandito pa? Pag tayo sa meet. Yes. Anybody?
Pinakamalaki.
Sino yung nagsasalita? Yes, Lara, Isabel.
Pinakamalaki po yung si sa hyperbola. Tapos pinakamalaki po yung si sa ellipse.
Okay, very good. So, nagbaliktad na. Sa ellipse, ang pinakamalaki nating length is your A. Tama? While dito sa ating hyperbola, it is C, yung letter C. Okay, so gagamitin natin siya mamaya. Okay, so let us move on. Okay, let us now derive, again, the standard form of the equation of a hyperbola. In deriving the standard form of the equation of a circle, parabola, and an ellipse, saan ba tayo nag-start lagi?
Definition po.
Okay, from the
Definition po.
Okay, very good. From the definition. Thank you, John and Vincent. From the definition of the conic section. Again, from the definition of hyperbola, it is a set of points whose difference of the distances from a fixed point is a constant. If we're going to write that in a formula or in a working equation, how will you write based on the definition? Let's start with our derivation of standard form. Paano natin susulat yon? Again, do sa previous slide ko kanina, yung coordinate of our point P is x and y. Coordinate of F1 is negative C and 0. Coordinate of F sub 2 is C and 0. So if we are going to use the definition of hyperbola, I will write an equation or a relation based on that. Sige nga. Hindi na ako mag-whiteboard ha kasi ito na may katulad nung sa ellipse kahapon, anong last week. How about Bea, Angela? Bea? Yes, Bea. How will you write the definition when, as a working equation natin for us to be able to derive? Saan tayo magsisimula, Bea?
Using the definition po, sir.
Okay, sabi nga doon sa definition, it is a set of points whose distance or difference of the distances from a fixed point is a constant. So how will you write that as a working equation or relation? Excuse, Bea.
Um, Gagamitin po yung distance formula po, sir.
Okay, before we use the distance, before we using the distance formula, ano muna yung ating working equation? Sige, babalikan kita, Bea. Isip ko
Sige po,
muna.
sir.
Thank you. How about Joward? Excuse po. Joward, sa Bilawan. Yes, Joward.
Sir, ano po ulit yung tanong?
Okay. Sabi kanina ni ni Vincent at saka ni John Michael, for us to derive the standard form of the equation, we will use the definition. We will use the definition itself ng ating conic section. Tanda mo yung ginawa natin sa ellipse. Last time, we derived the standard form using its definition. From the definition of hyperbola, sabi doon, it is a set of points whose difference of the distances from a fixed point ay constant. So how you transform it into a working equation or relation?
Sir, hindi ko po tanda.
Okay. Sige, babalik ka tayo, Joward. Thank you, Joward. How about Angel, Miss Asagra? Angel. Paano natin ilalagay sa relation or sa working equation yung ating definition of hyperbola?
Gagamitin po yung point na sinabi nyo kanina, yung negative c po.
Okay. So ang given doon is a point. Ang given doon is a point on the hyperbola which is point P. Point P has a coordinate of x and y. Then given yung two fixed points, f sub 1 has a coordinate of negative c and 0, f sub 2 has a coordinate of c and 0. Okay, now, based on the definition of hyperbola, I will write an equation or a relation between them.
Ima-minus po.
Paano natin papakita? Sige, go.
Wait lang po.
Sabi doon ay distances or difference of the distances from a fixed point. It is a point whose difference of the distances from a fixed point or from fixed points is a constant. Paano natin siya ita-translate into a relation?
Ano po? Yung sa distance formula po, d squared minus d1. D
Okay.
squared.
Okay, before we apply the distance formula, what will be our working equation muna?
F1 minus F2 equals
Ulit.
2a.
Ulit.
Diba?
Angel, ulit. Again, okay, ano ko yung definition? Sabi doon sa definition, it is a set of points whose difference of the distances from two fixed points is a constant. So how will you translate that into a relation? Malapit na, nandun na yung sinabi mo kanina.
Ulit nga po, sir.
Again, yung definition ba?
Opo.
Okay, sabi doon sa definition, it is a set of points whose difference of the distances between difference of the distances from a fixed point or from fixed points is a constant.
Gagawin pong F1 minus F2 equal 2a.
Okay, how about the distances nung ano? Ano bang distance yung pinag-uusapan natin dito? Distance between what points? Doon sa ating graph kanina.
Nung fixed point po. Saka no fixed point and a point in a hyperbola po.
Okay, a point in a hyperbola and a fixed point. So if we're going to get the distance between the two, I will write yung distance from P to F sub 1. Sabi ko pala. Wala, sige.
Sir. Sir, try po.
Okay, tutulungan ka ni Alec. May point naman si Angel, hindi lang niya makompleto. O, Alec, go.
Ano po? F sub 1 minus P. Naka-enclose nga po ba yun sa absolute value?
F sub 1
Minus P.
minus P
Minus F sub 2 plus P.
minus F sub 2 plus P
Equals 2A.
Okay, is it correct? Tingnan natin yung definition na sabi doon. This is a set of points whose difference of distances from a fixed point is constant. Point do sa parabola whose difference ng distances nila is constant. Balikan natin yung ellipse. Okay, let's go back to ellipse. Gamit ako ng viewboard na. Wait lang. Ng whiteboard. Okay. That's a whiteboard. Sana mag-hang ang whiteboard natin. Okay, ito na lang. Kita niyo yung whiteboard, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wait lang, hindi mag-move yung whiteboard. Nagkakangkasit. Move ko lang siya. Ayaw lang na mag-move. Hindi na magsulat. Yan, wait lang, wala. Wait lang ha, ito ang problema ko pag nag-o-open. Luto na. Wala, lumiit na. Okay, yan. Okay. Okay, let us go back to our definition of an ellipse. Sabi dun sa ellipse, it is a set of points whose sum of the distances from a fixed point is a constant. Di ba, ginamitan natin siya ng, from that definition, we have yung ating point dun sa ellipse, then ito ay distance from that point to f sub 1 plus distance of that point to f sub 2 is equal to 2a daw. Di ba ito yung ginamit natin sa ellipse? Tama ba ako?
Apo, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, bakit lumiit rin? Okay, so yan yung ating sa ellipse. Ano? Now, doon sa definition natin ng ellipse, sabi doon, it is a sum. Sum of the distances, ito yung distance 1, ito yung distance 2. Sum of the distances of that point from a fixed point is equal to or is a constant. And we let that constant be equal to 2a. Now, if you will notice doon sa ating definition ng ellipse, it is somewhat similar with the definition of hyperbola. The difference only is, sa ellipse, it is a sum. Doon sa hyperbola, it is a difference. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, if we are going to get the relationship between yung point P at saka yung fixed point natin, and we are going to write a working equation for us to be able to derive the standard form of the equation, what will that equation be? What will that relation be? Okay, go.
Point f sub 1 minus point f sub 2 equals to a.
Ulit. Ano yung point na yan?
Wait. F sub, fixed point. Wait. Nalilito lang ako, sir.
May nagsasalita. Sino nagsasalita kanina?
Ako po.
O, Gia.
Sir, parang parehas lang po ng ellipse pero minus po.
Okay. Kasi halos pareho rin ng definition nila. Ang pagkakaiba lang yung sa ellipse ay sum, yung sa hyperbola is difference. Ano? So sabi daw yung distance from P to a fixed point minus yung distance ng P to the second fixed point is a constant. And again, we let that constant be equal to 2a. So ito yung ating working formula na tinatawag. Ano? Ito yung relation natin. Ito yung relation based on the definition given. Okay, so we will start with that. Papalit ako. Okay, so balik tayo sa ating ano. Okay, so we will start with PF1 or P distance from P to F1 minus distance from P to F2 is equal to 2A. Next, ito na yung sinasabi nyo kanina. Since we are talking of distance, so we can apply the distance formula. Ano? But before applying distance formula, tulad ng ginawa natin during the derivation of our ellipse, our standard form of the equation of an ellipse, anong una natin ginawa? We transpose terms. Ano? Nag-transpose muna tayo. So from here, we transpose PF sub 2 to the right. So transpose muna natin. Pwede namang ilagay niyo muna yung equation o yung distance formula at saka kayo mag-transpose. Pwede rin yun. Ano? Okay, then after that, we apply the distance formula. What is the distance from P to F sub 1? What is the distance from P to F sub 1? Using the distance formula. Again, what is the distance from P to F sub 1 using the distance formula?
Square root of quantity x plus c squared plus y squared po.
Plus y squared.
Okay, square root of quantity x plus c squared plus y squared. How about the distance from P to F sub 2?
Square root of quantity x minus c squared plus y squared.
Plus y squared.
Okay. So square root of quantity x minus c square plus y square. Okay, so yun yung ginamit natin na distance formula. Now, again, if you will notice, this is a radical equation. And to remove the radical sign, anong ginagawa natin dito?
Square both sides.
Okay, so we are going to square both sides. So squaring both sides, we have, yan, naka-square na siya at then expand na natin, ano? We have x squared plus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared is equal to 4a squared plus 4a times square root of quantity x minus c squared plus y squared plus x squared minus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared. Plus hindi na ako gumamit ng whiteboard ha, kasi ito naman ay katulad nung nakaraan natin sa ellipse. Pareho rin yung pagdiderive at pareho rin siya, nagpalit-palit lang ng position. Okay, kaya ginanito ko na lang. Okay, now, so after squaring both sides and expanding, can we now cancel?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so alin ang pwede natin cancelin?
X squared.
X squared, c
C
squared,
squared and y squared.
Square and y square. So matatanggal na yan, ano? So matitira natin ay 2cx. 2cx is equal to 4a squared plus 4a times times square root of quantity 4 x minus c squared plus y squared plus minus 2cx. So yun yung matitira. Ito na lang yung natira. Okay, so nakuha niyo kung bakit naging ganito? Okay, very good. So nilipat natin yung minus 2cx to the left, kaya naging positive 4cx. Ano? Then yung positive 4a squared nilipat din sa left, kaya naging minus 4a squared. Then ito naman ay 4a, then divide both by 4a, kaya nawala yung 4. By 4. Divide the equation by 4, kaya nawala na yung 4. So ito na yung simplified form. Now, again, if you still notice, meron pa tayong radical sign. So to remove the radical sign, we are going to
Square.
So we are going to square both sides ulit. So squaring both sides, we have, so ito na ulit yung kanyang product, then naka-expand na to. We have c square x square minus 2a square, cx plus a to the fourth is equal to a square x square minus 2a square cx plus a square c square plus a square y square. So naka-expand na ha itong ating ginawa. Okay, next. Can we still cancel out?
Yes po.
O, alin ang matatanggal?
A square,
Alin ang matatanggal?
2a squared cx.
Okay, very good. So we are going to cancel out negative 2a squared cx. So tanggal na yan. Ano? So matitira natin ay c square x square plus a to the fourth is equal to a square x square plus a square c square plus a square y square. Now, after canceling negative 2a square cx, ano ang kasunod na gagawin natin sa natira?
Factor out.
Okay, before you factor, anong gagawin natin?
Combine like terms.
Okay, combine like terms. What else?
Ay, wait,
Rearrange
answer
po
po,
ba
sir.
rin, sir?
simplify, sir.
Simplify.
Rearrange po.
Distribute
I-arrange
yung
po
a
yung
squared,
variable
sir.
to the left
Eh,
side.
Rearrange. How are we going to rearrange?
Move all the variables po na may x and y.
Okay, to the
Left po.
Left po.
okay, very good. So we're going to isolate x variable and y variable to the left. Ano? So yung x and y variables ay to the left, constant to the right. So magsasama sa left ay c square x square, ito na siya. C square x square minus a square x square minus a square y square. Sa right naman ay a square c square minus a to the fourth. So lumipat yung a to the fourth to the right, then lumipat naman to the left yung a square x square at saka a square y square. Okay, so malapit na kayo. Actually, ito yung mahaba, class. Ano kung gagawin natin yung step by step? Pinaikli ko lang kasi hindi magkakasya dito sa slide. Okay, next. What is the next?
Factor na, sir.
Okay, very good. Factor. Okay, magka-group ay may x. Okay, walang ka-group yung y. Then we have a square, a to the fourth. Okay, let us factor. So common factor is x square. We have quantity c square minus a square y square. Sa left, sa right naman, we have a square times quantity c square minus a square. Now, ano napansin nyo sa left and right?
C squared
Kung
minus
c squared minus a squared.
Okay, very good. Common ang c square minus a square. Okay, for us to be able to arrive to the standard form of the equation, may b kasi doon, may b sa equation. Okay, anong gagawin natin doon sa c square minus c square?
substitute to b squared po.
Okay, so we are going to let b square be equal to c square minus a square. Ano? Bakit nauna yung c sa a ngayon?
Kasi po, mas malaki po.
Malaki po yung
Malaki yung C.
Okay, very good. So, if you will notice sa ating distances kanina, mas malaki yung C ngayon sa A. Unlike to sa ellipse, mas malaki yung A sa C. Ano? Kaya hindi natin pwedeng ano. Okay, next. Okay, if we are going to let b square be equal to c square minus a square, ito na siya ngayon. We have x square b square minus a square y square is equal to a square b square. Okay, now, from our standard form of the equation of an ellipse, ang nasa right side natin is equal to 1. Ganun din sa hyperbola. Yung right side natin is always equal to 1. Sa standard form, standard form. Now, paano natin gagawin equal to 1 ang right?
Divide po lang.
Divide by a squared.
Very good. So we are going to divide the equation by a square, b square. And dividing the equation, it will give us x square over a square minus y square over b square is equal to 1. Okay, this is now the standard form of the equation of an ellipse with center at 0, 0 or at the origin and transverse axis horizontally. Okay? So, nakuha niyo yung derivation, class?
Apo.
Okay, pag nag-derive kayo, class, huwag kayong malilito doon sa pag mag-multiply, mag-expand, yung mga ganun, ano. Kasi pag nagmali ng isa, automatic, magkakagulo na yung pababa. Okay? Kasi baka lumabas sa ating exam, kung magkaka-examan tayo, yung derivation natin. From circle to hyperbola. Okay? So, may tanong sa derivation.
Wala po.
So, let's have the equations. Okay, let's have the equations of a hyperbola with center at 0, 0. Okay, if your transverse axis is horizontal, ito yung ating graph. Okay, ganito yung itsura ng ating graph. And our equation is, yung ating kinuha kanina, x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. So then yung graph natin opens to the left and to the right. Then distance between foci is 2c. Tatandaan to ha. So then the coordinates of our foci is at negative c0 and 0 and c and 0. So then the length of the transverse axis is 2a. The coordinates of the vertices are at negative a, 0, and a, 0. While the length of the conjugate axis is 2b, and the coordinates of the co-vertices are at 0, negative b, and 0, b. And the equation of the asymptote, we have y is equal to negative b over a, x, and y is equal to b over a, x. Okay? Next. If your transverse axis is vertical, ito yung ating graph. Okay? And the equation is y squared over a squared minus x squared is equal to 1. Okay, ano napansin nyo doon sa equation natin? If your transverse axis is either horizontal or vertical.
Nagbaliktad lang po, sir.
Change
Alin
po
na
yung
nagbabaliktad this
Squared
time?
pati yung
y
y squared.
squared.
Okay, very good. So, ang nag-change ng position this time ay yung x variable and y variable, ha? Tatandaan. Unlike doon sa ellipse, ano nagpapalit ng position sa ellipse?
A and
A
B po.
squared and B squared.
Okay, yung A at saka yung B natin na nagpapalit. Okay, sa hyperbola, it is the y and x variables. Okay? Then it opens up and down. Distance between foci, ganun pa rin. Okay, the coordinates of the foci are at 0, negative c, and 0, c. Transverse axis is 2a. Coordinates of our vertices are at 0, negative a, and 0a. Length of the conjugate axis is 2b. Then the co-vertices is at or are at negative b0 and b0. And your asymptote or equations of the asymptotes, we have y is equal to negative a over bx and y is equal to abx. Okay, if you will notice also this equation of the asymptote, if it is horizontal ang transverse axis, it is b over a. If it is vertical ang transverse axis, it is a over b. Okay, tatandaan ha. Okay, next na tanong. If you will notice this equation of the asymptote, we have a negative bax and a positive bax. Okay, bakit siya negative and bakit positive? Ay, sa inyo.
Sir,
Again.
kasi po,
Sino yun? Wait, hanapin kita. Sino nagsalita?
ako po, sir. Kinig po.
Vincent.
Kasi po magka-inverse po sila sa Cartesian plane. Yung isa po ay papuntang first quadrant. Parang diagonal po. Hindi ko po ma-explain, parang X.
Okay,
Kaya po
diagonals
negative po
ng
yung
ating
result.
ano?
Negative slope po
Okay.
and positive slope.
Okay, so may point na. Ha? Okay, one more. Why is it a negative negative yung equation ng isa at positive yung equation ng isa? Nandun na sa sinabi ni Vincent, dadagdagan lang natin. How about Daphne Joy? Is Daphne? Bukas nga tayo ng... Nasa si Daphne. Is Daphne? Nandito si Daphne? Bukas tayo ng kami. Wala si Daphne. Christian. Si Christian nandito. Christian. Hello, Christian. Mr. Christian Rehencia.
Sir, medyo may...
Hindi marinig. Ayaw naman gumana ng mic ni Daphne. Okay, how about Angel Justine? Angel Justine.
Sir, ano pong tanong?
Okay, doon tayo sa equations ng asymptote natin. Sabi natin, it is negative b over ax and positive b over ax. Ang tanong is, why is it a positive and negative?
Dahil po, alin yun?
Yung asymptote natin, yung padiagonal na gano'n. Ang equation ng isa is a negative, yung equation ng isa is a positive. So, nandun na sa sinabi ni Vincent, dagdagan na lang natin. Angel Justine. Angel. Bakit kaya negative yung isa, positive yung isa?
Nagbabaliktaran po.
Balik kasi magka-cross yung ating asymptote, magkasalungat, kaya positive, negative. Okay, my point. Thank you, Angel. Next. Vincent, nagtataas ng kamay. Vincent.
Sir, dadagdagan ko po pala.
Okay, go.
Since sinolve po yung y, parang minove po sa kabila ng equation tapos naging square root po. Kaya ang tas yung ano nga po yung asymptotes po ay yung sagot po if inequate sa y.
Okay, inequate sa y.
Square root po. Kaya po positive, negative.
Kaya positive, negative. Okay, ano ba ang graph ng ating asymptote? Ano ang graph ng ating asymptote? It is a
Curve, sir.
curve ba ang asymptote natin?
Ano po, sir? Intersecting line. Pa-x po.
Ano ang graph ng ating asymptote, Aram?
Pa-x, sir.
Hindi, yung isa lang, isa.
Ay, adi, ano isa lang po bagang?
Yung isang asymptote lang. Kasi dalawa yung asymptotes na yan eh. Magka-cross yung asymptotes. O yung isang asymptote natin, what is the graph of that asymptote? It is a
Diagonal.
Straight diagonal.
It is a
Naka-curve, sir.
nakakilo ba yon yung asymptote na yon?
Hindi po, sir. Ano po siya? Parang straight lang po siya nung di ba nag-curve yung hyperbola. Yung hoop nung hyperbola.
Okay. Okay, if you will look at the equation of our asymptotes. Tingnan niyo equation ng asymptotes ha. Y is equal to negative b over ax. Yung isa naman, y is equal to b over ax. Are they linear or quadratic?
Linear po.
Linear or quadratic?
Linear po.
Okay, linear. Okay, linear. What is the graph of a linear function or equation? It is a ano ang graph ng linear equation? It is a
slope.
Slope ba?
Straight line.
Okay, it is a straight line. Ang graph ng ating first degree equation is a straight line. Di ba straight line yon? Yung ating asymptote is a straight line. Now, ang tinatanong ko kanina ay the negative and positive. Why is it a negative? Why is it a positive? Uy, ito pinag-aralan nyo. Grade 9 yata ito. Geometry.
Sir, yung isa po ay
Yes, Ezekiel. Yes, hindi ko na marinig.
yung isa po ay right.
Yung isa ay
Left po. Yung isa ay
okay.
right.
Okay, very good. Yun ang sinasabi ng ating negative and positive, yung ating direction ng ating ng ating straight line. Diba? If it is a negative slope, yung sinabi ni Vincent kanina, kulang lang kaya hindi ko maano. If it is a negative slope, your line leans towards where? If it is a negative slope, saan nakalin yung ating line? Saan nakahilig yung ating line if it is a negative slope?
To the left.
Okay, it leans towards the left natin, di ba? If it is a negative. If it is a positive slope, then our line leans toward the
Right.
right. Towards the right. Okay, yun yung sinasabi doon ng negative and positive doon sa equation ng ating asymptote. Naintindihan ba? Good. Kasi kung titingnan niyo yung ating asymptote, siya ay nasa slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Yung B over A is actually your slope. Okay, if it is negative, then your slope leans towards the left. If it is positive, then your your line leans towards to your right. Okay? Nakuha ba? Uy,
Medyo po.
Sino yung medyo? Sino yung medyo? Di ba ito pinag-aaralan na natin nung nagagraph tayo ng linear equation. Pag ang slope ng line is ay negative, papunta sa kaliwa ang line. Pag ang ating slope is ay positive, papunta sa kanan ang ating line. Tama? Tama ba?
Tama, sir. Opo.
Okay, anyway, medyo matagal-tagal na rin ito. Okay, may tanong ba ron? Let us move on. Okay, last na to. Yan, ayaw na. 410 na. Okay, equations of hyperbola with center at h and k. Itong kasunod. Not responding lang. Nag-hang na siya. Wait lang class at not responding na. Nasuko na. Sabi nga, do not give up. Never quit. Yun. Okay, last part na to. Yan. Okay, equations of hyperbola with center at h and k. So, ganun pa rin. If your transverse axis is horizontal, your equation will be quantity x minus h square over a square minus quantity y minus k square over b square is equal to 1. Yung ating graph opens to the left or to the right and to the right. Okay, at h plus c and k. Plus minus, sorry. Vertices are at h plus minus a and k. So then the equation, ganun pa rin na equation. We have y minus k is equal to plus minus b over a, quantity x minus h. If your transverse axis is vertical, then your equation will be quantity y minus k square over a square minus quantity x minus h square over b square is equal to 1. And your hyperbola opens either up and down. Up and down, hindi pala either. Then foci at coordinate at h and k plus minus c, vertices at h and k plus minus a, and the equations, we have y minus k is equal to plus minus a over b, quantity x minus h. So katulad din ito nung kanina, nagkaroon lang siya ng center at h and k. So the only difference din dito is yung position ng ating x variable and y variable. Kapag nasa una yung x variable, then your transverse axis is horizontal. Kapag nasa una yung y variable, your transverse axis is vertical. Okay? So may tanong sa hyperbola. Yes, naman ako. May tanong sa hyperbola?
Okay na po.
Okay, so let us answer a few dalawa lang ito. Ito muna tayo magsimula. Ayaw mag-move. Yan, ayaw na mag-move. Wait lang class ha. Ayaw na makisama. Maayaw na yung laptop. Magapo kasi from 7 hanggang 5 yung ating klase. Okay, so let's have this problem. Kailangan natin mag-move. Nakikita niyo ba yung whiteboard class?
Opo, sir.
Opo.
Opo, sir.
Opo.
Wait lang ha, tayo gumalaw ng whiteboard. Makita natin yung tanong. Yun, lumayo. Super na. Okay, ito yung ating first question class. Our first problem natin. You are going to find the standard form of the equation of hyperbola that has vertices at 0, -2, and 6, -2. And the foci at are -2 and -2, 8, and -2. Okay. Ang hahanapin lang natin dito ay standard form standard form of the equation of the hyperbola given the vertices and the foci. Now, based on the points given, what is the orientation of our hyperbola?
Horizontal.
Okay, transverse axis I.
X.
Okay, titingnan nyo ay yung transverse axis natin, whether it is horizontal or vertical. Okay, so tingnan nyo yung position ng ating points. So, based on the given points, vertices, and the foci natin, what is the orientation of your hyperbola? Is it transverse axis
Vertical po.
vertical? Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Horizontal.
Okay, very
Ay,
good.
horizontal nga
Horizontal. Paano natin nakuha ang horizontal?
Horizontal.
Full
Yung
size po.
yung foci po.
Okay, yung foci natin coincides with our vertices. Ano? If we are going to plot yung vertices, dito siya. 0, -2, this is your V sub 1. And 6, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kayo na lang bahala magtuwid dun sa ating ano ha, medyo kilo-kilo na. This is our vertices. Next, the foci are -2, -2. So -2 and -2. This is your F sub 1. And we have 8 and -2, 1, 2, -2. So from the position ng ating points, makikita natin that the transverse axis is horizontal. Parallel do sa ating x-axis. Ano? Okay, since we are after the standard form of the equation, based dun sa orientation ng ating hyperbola, what will be the standard form of the equation ng ating hyperbola? Alin ang ating Yes. Yes. Sino yun?
Yung
Yes, go on.
yung x minus h squared over a squared minus.
Okay, very good. Quantity x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. So dito tayo mag-start. Kasi ito yung ating orientation ng hyperbola. Now, from the given standard form, you need HK, you need A, and B. May given bang center? Wala.
Wala po.
Okay, wala na. But can we determine the center?
Yes po.
Okay, yes. You can determine the center by using what?
Midpoint.
Midpoint
Very good.
Formula.
You can use the midpoint formula. Pwede nyo gamitin ang midpoint formula or using the graph natin, pwede nyo lang bilangin. Ano? Okay, using the midpoint formula, what is our center is at what point?
For -2.
Ulit. Saan?
For
negative.
Bilangin
4
mabuti.
-2 po.
Is it
3
4?
-2 po.
Is it 4 -2 or 3 -2?
3 po.
3 -2 po.
Okay. It's a 3 and -2. So kasi 1, 2, 3 nasa gitna siya nung ano, di ba? This is the center. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it is at 3 and -2. If you will use midpoint formula, ito rin yung lalabas doon. Okay, so meron na tayong H and K. How about A? What is the value of A? What is the value of A? Bilang-bilang. Hello? What is the value of A?
3 po ba?
3 po.
3 po, sir.
Okay, 3. Ano nyo nakuha yung 3?
Counting
So,
po.
paano nakuha yung 3? Okay,
From
from center to...
Vertex
vertex.
po.
Okay, very good. From center to vertex, it is A. And from center to vertex is 1, 2, 3. Kahit hindi nyo na gamitin yung, anong tawag dito? Yung distance formula, pwede nyo na lang bilangin, ano? Kasi sa distance formula, yun din naman nalalabas. Okay, your A is equal to 3. Pero actually, distance formula ang ginamit nun na. Okay, how about B? May given bang B?
Wala po.
Okay, wala pa. How about C? May given bang C?
5.
5 po.
Okay, C is 5. Can we solve for B?
Opo.
Apo.
Okay,
Yes
let us
po.
solve for B. Okay, in solving for B, we are going to use what formula?
P equals square root of
C minus A.
C minus
Okay, C square minus A
A
A
square.
squared.
Yung ginamit natin kanina doon sa derivation, ano? Okay, let us substitute. What is A square? This is 25. A square is 9.
9.
So this is 16. What is square root of 16 is?
4.
4.
4.
Okay, let us now substitute this as standard form. With center at 3, negative 2. So that means we have x
Minus 3 squared.
minus 3 square over
Over 9.
9 minus
Y
Quantity
minus.
y plus 2
Y
squared.
plus 2
y
squared.
plus 2 square over
Over 16.
16 po.
okay, 16 is equal to 1. This is now the equation of your hyperbola. Okay, so since we are just after the standard form, kaya ito na yung sagot. If you want to draw the hyperbola, pwede nyo ring i-solve yung or i-put yung points. Halimbawa yung B. Ang B natin is distance from center to vertex, which is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ayan na yata yung bagyo. Okay, then draw the rectangle. And that will be asymptote. Okay, then get the equation of the asymptote. Mamaya. Okay, so these are the asymptotes. Tama nyo lang sa center. Then draw the hyperbola. Nanginginig ang kami ni sir. Okay, so kahit nyo na natin kunin yung latus rectum. By the way, ang latus rectum natin is natin is 2b square over a. Ang directrix natin is plus minus a square over c. So kung kukunin niyo yung latus rectum at saka yung directrices, ito yung ating distances. Okay? Okay, next. May tanong dito, class.
Wala.
Okay,
Wala
last
po.
na. At malakas ng ulan. Naulan ba dyan sa Lucena?
Wala pa po. Padating pa lang.
Makulimlim lang, sir.
Malapit na po. Ayun na po.
Malakas ng ulan dito sa Sariaya. Okay, last. Nakita niyo na po. Ayan, nawala yung tanong. Okay, we have 3x squared. We have x squared minus 12x minus 2y squared minus minus 12y minus 18 is equal to 0. Okay, given the general form of the equation, okay, you are going to graph the hyperbola. Ano muna ang ating gagawin?
Sir, ano po yung first part ng equation?
We have 3x squared minus 12x minus 2y squared minus 12y is equal to minus 18.
Combine po.
Okay, we are going to
Combine like terms.
okay, combine. We are going to transform this to standard form. Ano? First is to group din. I-group natin. So let us group. We have 3x squared minus 12x minus we have 2y plus 12 2y squared plus 12y is equal to 18. Next, let us factor. Factor, we have 3, we have x squared minus 4x minus factor yung kabila, we have 2 y squared plus 6y is equal to 18. Okay, now, let us complete the square. Ito na marinig. Complete the square. We have 3 times 1x squared minus 4x. Okay, to complete the square, you need to add what?
Plus 4.
Okay, plus 4. Minus 2 times quantity y squared plus 6y. Okay,
Plus
add
9.
what?
Plus 9 po.
It's equal to 18 plus
Plus 12 plus
plus 12 plus
18.
18.
minus 18. Kasama yung sign ng negative 2 kasi kasama siya kanina. Okay, next, factor. This is x minus
2.
2 square minus 2. This is y plus
3.
3.
3 square is equal to
18.
cancel. 12, ano?
12.
12. Then divide by 12. Okay. Malakas na kasi ulan dito, hindi ko na marinig. Okay, so this will become quantity x minus 2 square over
4.
4 minus 2, sorry, wala na pala 2. Y plus 3 square over what?
6.
6 is equal to 1. Okay, this is the equation. In standard form, how about the center?
2 negative
Okay, center is
3
at
po.
what point?
2 negative 3 po.
Okay, center at 2 and negative 3. How about the value of A?
2 po.
2. Value of B?
2 po. 3 po. Ay, joke.
Ay, square root. Ay,
Naging 3. Okay, it is square root of?
Square root of 6 po.
Square root of 6. Solve for C. What is C? What is C?
Square root of 10 po.
Okay, square root of 10 yung C. Ano? Kasi inad lang yun. 4 and 6. So this is square root of 10. Okay, let us now graph. Okay. Okay, let us now graph. Okay, based on sa ating equation, based on the equation, transverse axis, horizontal or vertical? Okay, transverse axis, horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal po.
Horizontal. So opens to the left and right. Okay, center at 2, negative 3. Okay, 2, negative 3, 1, 2, negative 3. Okay, this is the center. How about vertices? Nasaan ang vertices? Vertices. Okay, 2 units from the center, left and right. So 1, ito yung V sub 1 and V sub 2. Tama ba? What is the coordinate of V sub 1?
0, -3 po.
Negative.
Okay, V sub 1 is 0 and -3. V sub 2?
4
Four
negative 3.
4 negative 3. Okay, next. How about our, tawag dito, co-vertices? Co-vertices, B square root of 6. Square root of 6 is approximately 2.14 yata na. So approximately, this is your V sub 3. And approximately 1, 2, 3, this is your V sub 4. What is the coordinate of V sub 3?
1 and
2 negative square root of 6.
Okay, 2 and pwedeng decimal. Okay lang decimal.
0.5 dyan.
Ang center mo ay 2 negative 3. Nasa ng V sub 3. Negative 3 plus what?
Square root of 6.
Okay, negative 3 plus square root of 6. Susulat natin na negative 3 plus square root of 6. Tama ba?
Opo.
Opo, sir.
Next. Negative 3, 3, 1. Okay, next. How about your V sub 4?
2
2 and
Minus square root of
negative 3
minus square root of 6.
Minus square root
and
of 6.
minus square root of 6. Next, how about the foci? It is square root of 10 from the center. Square root of 10 is approximately
3.16 po.
Okay, 3.60. 1, 2, 3.60. Ito yung F1. 1, 2, 3, approximately. Ito yung F2. Okay, what is F sub 1? Coordinate.
Negative square root of 10.
negative.
Negative.
2 minus square root of 10 up.
Okay, ulit. 2 minus
Square root of 10 at
Square root of
negative
10.
3.
let 2 minus
Square root of 10, comma,
square root of
negative
10 and
negative
negative
3.
3. How about your F sub 2?
2 plus square root of
2
10
plus square root of
Okay,
10.
2 plus
and
square root of
negative
10
3.
and negative 3. Very good.
Yoko na.
Okay, now let us now draw the hyperbola. Again, drawing the yung ating rectangle to be able to determine the asymptote. Okay, draw the asymptote. Okay, pwede nyo kunin yung equation ng asymptote. Then draw your hyperbola. Excuse me. Okay, kahit din nyo na kunin yung latus rectum, okay na yan. Okay, so this is our hyperbola that opens to the left and right. Excuse me. Okay, we have 2, 4, 6 points. 7 points din pala, katulad ng ating ellipse. Ano? For you to be able for you to be able to draw a hyperbola. Okay, may tanong class.
Wala po.
Naintindihan niyo yung hyperbola? Ano nangyari din?
Opo.
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 Wala na kayong tanong?
Wala na po.
Wala po.
Okay, wait lang ha. At open ko lang yung paint. Mag-attendance lang tayo. Ay bagyo na uli yata. Edit lang. Tayo mag-open ng pane. Tayo mag-open ng pane ko. Okay, so let's have first our attendance. Picture attendance muna tayo. I'll be uploading your activity 1, worksheet week 4, and okay, sa assessment 4, week 4 sa ating Google Classroom. Okay, so next topic natin ay you're going to determine the connect section, and after that ay problem solving tayo. Okay, so let's have this class picture muna. Angel, Justine, Ezekiel, mga nag-left na. Okay, attendance muna tayo. Picture attendance. 1, 2, 3. Vincent. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Mine. Okay na. Okay, so thank you for joining me sa ating online class this afternoon. See you next meeting, next Wednesday ulit tayo. Okay?
Thank
So
you
if you have
po.
any questions,
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po,
Thank you po,
sir.
thank you po.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Love you,
Okay,
sir.
pwede na kayo matulog.
Love you, sir. Thank you.